So let me tell you a little bit about the history of the mass spectrometry unit and how it came to be that we are here today in this course. In our laboratory at IBR, we started doing some proteomics work almost a decade ago, in 2010. I work for the group of Eduardo Secarelli, who is here today, and also he will give a talk later. And we work with complexes, protein complexes that are really large. So in 2010, we had the idea to make, to run these complexes in electrophoresis, in native electrophoresis. And we acquired at that time a multifor tool that is an equipment to making 2D shells and isoelectrofocusing. The thing is that we were going to make native shells and blue native shells, but the thing is that we never did them. Yes, it's still on plan. But later, another professor for the university said, well, I want to do some proteomics work, and I know that you have the multifor. What about if we make some 2D shells and start doing proteomics work? This professor is Eduardo Guibert from the University of Rosario. So he worked with rats, and specifically in liver proteomics. And what he wanted to do is to study the proteomic changes in rat liver according to different treatment of the organ once it is extracted from the animal. So we started doing the gels. This is one of the gels that is a really beautiful gel, but for making it there, it was like 6 months of optimizing the technique. It is very difficult to do 2D gels, but at the end, we make it happen. So this was a really nice work that we got published a couple of years ago. And it became clear to us and in our institute that there was a need for proteomic works. Our institute does a lot of work on proteins, on isolated proteins. We're really expert in nuclear magnetic resonance, X-ray crystallography, spectroscopy. But really, the field of spectrometry was really lagging behind. So all the other researchers, when they saw that we were making proteomics, they started saying, well, we also want to do proteomics. In 2015, there was a program called PME that are really great grants for buying new equipment, Programa de Modernización de Equipos. They are grants of $1.2 million to buy new equipment. So we have a meeting with all the researchers at the institute, and we made the case that we needed a mass spectrometer at IBR. And the researchers at IBR said, okay, let's go for it. We applied for the grant, and it was approved. During that time, the economical crisis in Argentina made it difficult to acquire, and the equipment was finally purchased 4 years later in 2019. Once the money appeared, of course, the equipment appeared also very rapidly. And it was here in January last year, and it was installed in March 2020. What happened in March 2020? The pandemics. So we turned on the mass spectrometer, and we left it there for 8 months, and we couldn't go in. So, well, when we could start working at the IBR again, we started working with the Orbitrap and making beautiful results. And the mass spectrometry unit was finally opened in March 2021, this year, April, sorry. We have a virtual inauguration where a lot of authorities from the province and from the country, the Minister of Science at that time was present, the director of CONICET. And what was that we were opening? Well, the star of the inauguration and the mass spectrometer unit, of course, is the mass spectrometer, a QX active HF with Orbitrap technology. I don't know how many of you have actually worked with the mass spectrometer, but I think in this course you will have the chance of going into the mass spectrometry unit and play a little bit with the equipment, always under supervision, of course. Not only that, of course, we have to make a room for the mass spectrometers that, and the mass spectrometer is coupled to a Nano HPLC Ultimate 3000. We have two computers, high-end computers for data analysis, its own nitrogen generator, and the whole room is temperature controlled at 22 degrees. So it was a really happy time for us. Oh, I don't know what happened there, but what I wanted to say in this slide is that the community, the proteomics community in Argentina is quite small. We only have a couple of mass spectrometers around the country. Some are a little bit old technology. One is in Lanais Proem in the Faculty of Pharmacy and Biochemics. The other one is our colleagues at ICGEB, where Pia Balaco, I think, Pia, hi Pia, over there, is one of the heads of the proteomics facility in Buenos Aires. And the other one is in the Laboratory of Mass Spectrometry at the Universidad Nacional del Litoral. So the thing is that our proteomics community needs to grow. And why Argentina, with its tradition in science, the mass spectrometry aspect is quite small, especially in proteomics. Not only mass spectrometry of small chemical molecules is really a big community, but in proteomics it's not. What happens? There are a lot of entry barriers to the field. And one of them is, of course, the cost. As I told you, this type of equipment costs around $1 million, so they are very expensive. I know that, but I think that is only looking at the cost is only one half of the problem, you know? The other problem is that we don't have enough people working in proteomics right now. Researchers making the case in their institute that proteomics is necessary. It's a beautiful tool to study proteins. So one of the desires from Nico and me and the few dozens people who are working in proteomics is that we want to make our community grow. So for example, with our folks at ICGEB and also from our colleagues at Montevideo, Uruguay, and the proteomics facility in Instituto Pasteur in Montevideo. The head of that unit is Rosario Duran. Hi, Rosario is here with us today. We make meetings, monthly meetings, to discuss the later aspects of proteomics and also how we can make proteomics grow. And one of the actions that we want to take is to make courses as much as we can, so that you can take the knowledge and distribute it among your place of work. So that maybe in the future when we have another grant for buying an equipment, you can say in your institute, we need a mass spectrometer for doing proteomics. So last year we participated in a course about data analysis. We watched remote. It was remote. It was, I think, in October 2020. I also highly encourage you to look at the course Proteome Analysis by Mass Spectrometry that Rosario in Uruguay organizes every 2 years. And luckily, next year is going to be on March 2022, hopefully. I had the pleasure to go there twice, 2014, 2016. It's a beautiful course to understand a lot of this knowledge in proteomics. Also, for all people in Argentina, but it could be anyone, I encourage you to become members of the Argentine Society of Mass Spectrometry. There you can find a lot of information about courses about mass spectrometry. It's free, so you can become a member for free. Most of the courses are in small molecule mass spectrometry, but luckily we are here to start making courses in proteomics. So, who are we? the organizers, Germán Rosano, Nico Blanco. I want to thank my co-organizer. 1 year and a half ago, he said, let's apply to ICGEB. We have 2 days left. Let's go for it. Okay, we wrote the grant in 2 days, and it got approved. I want to thank, of course, we can make this happen by all by ourselves. I had to thank all the staff that help us. Alejo Cantoya, Dianela Aguilar Lucero, Joaquín Costa, María Florencia Martínez, Agustín Caldo, Rodrigo Berrocal, Candela Brugnara, and Enrique Morales, who are in the audience. Raise your hand, please. Thank you to all the staff. I want to especially thank our speakers who are going to be here throughout this week. Professor Dengel, Rosario Durán, Verónica Dumit, Sergio Polo from Soluciones Analíticas, Eduardo, Pia, Matías Cabruja, and Dr. Antonio Lagares, who is now at the University of Marburg. They are going to make excellent talks, I'm sure. And I really thank you for making our lives easier. Because every time we have a problem in the organization, the speaker said, don't worry, we'll come around. So thank you for being here. The course has 2 phases. We are going to do data analysis. We are going to be split in 3 groups. And one group is going to learn a lot about network visualization and cross-linking mass spectrometry. Well, that is one aspect of this course. The other group is going to learn about proteomic analysis, global proteomics analysis. So we are going to learn a lot about the software that make it happen. And another group is going to be in the lab. And these groups are going to rotate between the 3 activities throughout the course. And in the lab, we are going to make a protocol that you are going to hear a lot about this week. That is Affinity Purification mass spectrometry. That is a crucial protocol to unveil interaction between proteins. One of the protocols to make this is to attach an antibody to magnetic beads. And this is the most popular. But if you read the papers, you will see that there are 2 different companies that they claim that they have the best system. That is Miltenyi and Chromotech. And I want to tell you that we have both of them in the laboratory. So each group, and you will get to make the protocol with both systems. Finally, I want to acknowledge, again, a lot of people that make this happen. Of course, our institute, the IBR, for all the support. Not only the staff, the researcher, but also the people who are in charge of the financial aspect of the course. And the secretaries, Marta Vijande, Cecilia Parfait, Ciro Militano, Elba Gomez, and Santiago Gramajo. Thank you for all the organization. Of course, the IBR community, especially María Inés Zanora and Estela Valle, because we are going to use part of their laboratory to make the practical activities. I want to thank the Faculty of Architecture, Planning and Design for this beautiful room that we're here today. In the IBR, we have an auditorium, but it's a little smaller, so for COVID, we have to make it here, but I think it's much better. It's a beautiful place. The Center of Science and Technology of Rosario, of course. And I want to thank all the institutions that fund this course and the sponsors. The main funding comes from ICGEB, International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, but also for Universität St. Gallen, that is responsible for bringing Professor Dengel from Switzerland. The Agency of Investigation, Development and Innovation, Province of Santa Fe through their secretary, and Agrisera Antibodies. We are going to use some of their antibodies for the lab work. And a big thank you for our top sponsor, Soluciones Analíticas, who represent Thermo Scientific. We have more than a relationship customer company. They are really good friends. I cannot tell you how many times the mass spectrometer was doing something weird, and I immediately called Domingo, who works at Soluciones Analíticas, and they were always there to answer my questions when I was in a crisis because, I don't know, the chromatographer was leaking liquids at 6 p.m. in the evening. So, you are going to hear a lot about this during this week. Protein-protein interactions. But at this course, our main goal is to turn it into person-person interaction. So the good thing is that we are in a window where the pandemic is letting us to be here in person. So we have prepared a lot of activities for you that we can start networking with each other. I cannot wait to start listening to your projects. We have the abstract book that you gave us, your lines of work. They are super interesting, and I want to hear more of them and how you are going to integrate proteomics to your works. So this was, we are going to pass that. So thank you again for being here, for taking time to visit us here at Rosario. I welcome you again. Thank you so much. And Nico, you take the lead. Thank you.